Some of the worst advice I ever got was this: do what you love and the money will follow. I heard that advice in books from seminar gurus and kind of from the culture, all over. And so I decided that I was going to do what I love and the money would follow. And it doesn't work that way. Work is work. Now, when I talk with someone who says that they love their job, they love their work, or they love their business, I'm thrilled for them, delighted for them. I think it's great, but doing what you love is not always a path to an income. Money is money, and if a person decides, let's say you want to be a graphic designer, or you want to be a life coach, or you want to be a content creator, okay? Just the fact that you love what you do doesn't necessarily turn it into income. That's called monetization, and that's like a whole different kettle of fish. Now, I was a book coach and a graphic designer for not a graphic designer, I apologize. I was a book coach and a ghostwriter for about 12 years before I retired fairly recently. And I really enjoyed what I did. There were things about it that I didn't love. One of the things that if you're going to do something you love, you better know about marketing. I was at kind of an advantage compared to a lot of people because one of my majors way back in school was marketing. And so even though it's changed a tremendous amount over the years, the fundamentals are still the same. And you got to know it, because I remember one time meeting a woman, and she had her little business, and she took like wine glasses and she would paint these beautiful little designs on them. And then she sold them for like $5, right? Or $10. And the thing is it took her maybe 2.5 to 3 hours to paint a wine glass, right? And okay, for $10, you figure, let's say it's just 2 hours, that's $5 an hour. That's not even half of what minimum wage is in many states. And that doesn't even cover the cost of, the glasses, storage space, a little bit of advertising, operational costs, things like that. It's like a business is a business, and what you do, what you love, you're going to love it, but it doesn't mean you're going to make money at it, right? You got to know some aspects about business. And so that's why I really recommend that if you are sort of an entrepreneur trying to follow a passion or something, that you learn about marketing. I used to see people who were kind of spiritual entrepreneurs, and they kept going for different trainings to become more highly skilled in the thing that they did, whether they were a massage therapist or whether they were a social worker or, whatever it was that they did. And they would never approach marketing. And it wasn't like not having enough skills that kept them struggling financially. It was the fact that they didn't know how to sell what it is that they do and, message it in a way that's appropriate. So do what you love and the money will follow is like, it really was bad advice. And the corollary to that is, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, because work is work. And a lot of times if you love what you do, it's like you're willing to accept less money for it very often. And eventually, over the years, it really feels like work, more and more over time. So I think that you find something that there's a demand for, that people want, you know. I remember this one woman, she was like some kind of a healer or something like this, and she lived in the Bay Area of San Francisco, and she was always doing her healing stuff on homeless people. Well, that's a really nice gift to give to the community and help out the homeless people, but it doesn't create income. And she would say, "Oh, there's a demand for what I do." And I'm like, "Yeah, who's paying you for it?" Right? Now, I always get smart aleck comments from people that say money isn't everything. It's like, but when you have bills to pay, I mean, you can't go to the grocery store and say, "Hey, you know what? I helped heal 3 homeless people this week." That's not going to get you your groceries for free or lower the cost of your rent or your mortgage or something like that. So there's a realism that I'm suggesting that you pay attention to, because it really was like this cultural thing. And in a way, it kind of makes sense. I mean, anything can happen in the universe, but in the world that we live in, it's like you got to know how to get the word out in such a way that people want to pay you for it. Because that's when it goes beyond being an expensive hobby and it becomes either a job or a business, right? So anyway, I wasted a lot of time doing what I loved and hoping that the money would follow. Even with a marketing background, I struggled with it. So at any rate, if that's you, before you go take another course to become better at graphic design or to become better at life coaching or whatever, and there's lots of them available online, very inexpensive, even free. Get some marketing skills under your belt so that you really can make a business out of it rather than, like I said a second ago, an expensive hobby. So anyway, this is Denise, what I wish I knew at 30. Thank you so much for joining me, and do take a minute to like the channel and subscribe. And I'd love to hear your comments about this topic, right? So thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.